Let's begin. So getting your career journey started. So I know from last week, you guys were introduced to different careers in STEM. What are their requirements? What are the skills? What is the different education level that would be required for you to actually pursue that specific career profession? But what I wanted to actually introduce you guys to this week were practically scholarships opportunities and as well as internship opportunities that you guys might not have been aware of. Because a lot of things that, especially high school, that they don't really give out a lot of information on, especially with international schools, that they don't tell you much about how you can go about applying for scholarships, where you can go to actually apply for these scholarships, what are the different things that you might actually require to apply for scholarships. I know the younger ones, this might not pertain that much to you because you guys are way younger and nowhere near ready to leave school, but it is never too early to start planning these things, so we're going to get into it. So we're going to be looking at scholarship and internships. So here you have a little girl here and she says, I would really love a scholarship for school. How can I apply? Okay, so scholarship. So there are different ways and different avenues that you can do to go about applying for scholarships or searching up for different scholarships that may be available. So you can find scholarships on different websites and newspapers. So if you guys read the Gleaner or the Observer, so you can make your parents buy the Observer and the Gleaner. Sometimes they will have different scholarship opportunities that are available there from different companies such as Sagicor, Grace, JN, Scotia. Those are the usual companies that tend to give out scholarships, but there are so many more out there that persons are not aware of. And there's so much information that is available. You just have to go out and look for it. So we're also going to be looking at who you can get information from regarding these scholarships, how to apply for them, what are the requirements, and also the requirements to maintain the scholarship and what to do after receiving it. Does anybody have any questions for me so far, or should I just move on? All right, I guess no questions, so moving right on. So websites and newspapers. So I'm just giving you guys a quick example. So you have different college websites that you can apply to get scholarships. So for example, if you're applying to go to UWI, you can go on the university website, just type it in on Google and then click on one of the links that you see there and it will carry you to like a home page. Usually there, when you reach the home page, there are different tabs. So you get a lot of information about the school, and there should be somewhere there that says something about scholarships. And that is for almost any university that you may want to apply for, either here locally or abroad. You can go on their sites and see the different scholarships that they have available there, whether it's for persons who require financial aid, if you have a specific type of GPA or part of a specific club. Also, there are different sites that you can go on to find out about scholarships that may be available. Yes, there is FastWeb. Thank you, Daniel. That's also another site that is available. So you have scholarships.com, and scholarships.com has a wide variety of scholarships from China to the Philippines to Spain to somewhere in Mexico to Canada, the US, Japan, all over. So that's it has a very broad spectrum of scholarships. And then right here locally, you can go to scholarshipjamaica.com, and that has different scholarships that are available here locally in Jamaica that you can look on. So guys, I do implore you guys to take the time, maybe not know what's afterwards, actually look on the different scholarships that are available. And not only just for your tertiary education, there are lots of scholarships that are available for secondary schools as well. Also, there is another site that is called College Board, and this site, I used this site when I was actually looking up scholarships in the US, so it's mostly US-based schools. So that is another one that you can look at, especially if you are interested in going abroad in the US to taking a school, whether it be Wright State or Harvard or one of those big schools over there. That is a site that you definitely can use to look up scholarships. Also, as I was saying before, that you have to check local newspapers such as the Green and Observer. They tend to always post scholarship opportunities there. And then it's very important to also check company websites such as Sagicor and Scotia, and as well follow their social media handles like Facebook and Instagram, because they always post a lot of things about scholarships and different volunteer activities that you can get into there as well. And lastly, it's very important that you visit the website for the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. They always have scholarships there that are available for you guys. So this is just like a very small snippet of where you can actually go to look for scholarship opportunities, because sometimes you guys are not even aware that these things are available for you. All right, so the next slide. So also try to speak to persons in the administration at the university that you plan on going to about grants. So in addition to scholarships, they do give persons grants at different universities. So when you definitely want to apply to a specific university, you can actually go to their administrative office, you can go to their faculty office and ask them about the different scholarships that they have available to see if, especially to see if it meets the requirements of these said scholarships, right? Also, if you're going to live on a specific hall or residence on a specific university, those halls or residents sometimes have their own scholarships. So you can talk to persons who live on the hall, you can talk to their resident advisors to find out more information regarding those scholarships. Because guys, there's so many different opportunities. Yes, there are persons who might not be able to afford universities just like that, so they have to take loans. We don't want to do that unless it's completely necessary, because student loans, their interests are very high. So make sure that when you're going towards tertiary education, that you really go out and look at the different avenues that are available to fund your education. And also, lastly, get advice from student leaders on grants and scholarships, persons who are already at the school as well. So we're moving on to the next thing. So who to talk to about scholarships? So the best persons to actually talk to, especially in your school or in high school, would be teachers, guidance counselors. They can help you with drafting of what you would do, what you would actually have to do to go about applying for some of these scholarships, because some of these scholarships require different documents that you need to send in, and we're going to get into that as well. And school recruiters. So what school recruiters are, especially in the international space, they actually look for students from different areas to actually come to their school. So you have a lot of them that you can actually talk to and speak to, because they would know what are the scholarships that are available, especially, as I said before, if you guys want to go to an international school. So is everybody following so far? I'm not going too fast for anybody. Okay, great. So I hope I'm not going, yes, so I'm not going too fast and everybody is understanding and it is informative. Great. So how to apply for them? So in order to apply for some of these scholarships, because some of them you can actually find them online. So what you do, you can simply visit their websites and fill out the form that is available. And if they need any documents, then you upload them as well and just send it off. However, you might have certain instances in which the application form is not available online. So for example, Sagicor is offering a scholarship. In order to fill out an application, you just simply visit the nearest location, fill it out, and then attach the relevant documents that are necessary. So it's not really a tedious process for the most part, but it's very important that you look about these things from early, so you know the different requirements, anything that you might need to do, such as write an essay or get references, and we're going to get into that. So what are the requirements? So the requirements that I have on the screen are just general requirements. So if you're looking at a specific scholarship, you need to make sure that you look at their specific requirements. This requirement that is here might not fit all scholarship categories, so it's very important that you do your research, guys. So generally what they usually require in order for you to get a scholarship is that you have to have at least a 3.0 GPA, which is a grade point average, which is equivalent to a B letter grade. And also, in some instances, not all, you have to demonstrate some form of financial need. In addition, you have to be a part of at least 2 to 3 extracurricular activities or be a part of a specific organization. So I know that sometimes when they're giving away scholarships, it might be required that you do volunteer work, or you'll be a part of a specific club, such as Key Club or Science Club or something like that. So it's very important that you look at those things from early. They might also require that you get 2 or 3 references. So somebody that can actually speak to your character. Usually they require that you get at least 1 academic reference. So a teacher or somebody that teaches you in an academic space, and then somebody else that might know you in like extracurricular, such as a club or something like that. Or maybe if you're involved in church, or lead some, if you're on the choir or something like that, a pastor or somebody similar to that who can speak to your character, as I was saying before. Also, you have some scholarships that might require that you write an essay, or even 2 or 3. So you might want to start thinking what you're going to write from before, how we're going to actually go about impressing these persons, and then afterwards you might want to have somebody like a teacher or some reputable person to actually look on what you write to make sure that it's up to par. And then also, last thing, certain qualifications or test scores. So if you know that you're going to apply for a scholarship, you need certain amount of CXE subjects or CAPE subjects in 1s or 2s. If you're going to apply abroad, so you're going to go to the US, you need to do the SATs, and they have to have a certain number in the SATs to be able to get a specific scholarship. So all those things are what you need to keep in mind if you guys plan to actually apply for a scholarship. And even sometimes language requirements are in there as well. They might require that you speak another language, but that's hardly ever the case unless you're going to like probably like a Spanish country or China or something like that. They would require that you would do some form of coursework or be exposed to the language before coming over into their country, because then it would be be difficult for you to actually, be able to actually move around and engage with persons. So it'd be quite difficult for you. All right, moving along. So it says what to do after getting the scholarship / maintaining it. So students must maintain a certain standard or a certain standing in order to continue to be eligible for a scholarship. So the requirements for a scholarship after you win typically involve keeping a certain GPA, continuing to demonstrate financial need in some cases, or staying involved in an extracurricular sport or organization. So when I was at UWI, I was a statutory foundation scholar, right? And in order for me to keep getting the scholarship, I would be required to at least have at the end of the year a 3.0 GPA. So it differs depending on the organization. I've heard some will require 3.6 or higher, but generally they have a specific standard that they need.
Wait, Miss?
You have a question?
Yes, Miss.
Yes.
So when you graduate in high school, you can get a scholarship?
Yes, depending on your grades, yes.
So Miss, what if you don't get a scholarship when you graduate high school? What you gonna
I mean, there are many different avenues that are available for you. You can take out student loan, there are grants that you can take, but I'm saying that
What
you
means what does
want,
that scholarship do for you? Like, what does the scholarship?
well, it takes off the financial burden of you having to pay your tuition and residence fees. So depending on which faculty or what major you're going to be doing, the tuition can range from 270,000 to probably quite more than that. Could be $1 million or more, because I know medicine is what, probably around
Oh,
$1 million or
yeah,
something like that. Yes,
it lowers the amount of money you have to pay.
I'm not hearing you repeat.
It lowers the amount of money you have to pay to get into the like university.
They would call it depends on how much the scholarship actually, how much they're giving you in the scholarship. Sometimes the scholarship doesn't cover the whole of your tuition or school fee. Sometimes it only covers half, sometimes it covers the whole thing. So it really depends on the amount that you are getting. But I'm saying that a scholarship is very good because it can take off the financial burden that your parents would actually have, because you don't want to actually have to be taking a loan, especially a student loan, if it's not really required. So it's very good when you start looking at these things and taking your education very serious from now, because in certain cases I've known persons who, for instance, have taken a loan for like $1 million and end up paying back $4 million. So I'm saying that the the interest on some of these loans tend to be very high sometimes. So you don't want to put yourself in that financial debt after you leave in university. So you want to give yourself the option to apply for a scholarship. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes, and I was saying that when I was at university, and because I was a Sagicor Foundation scholar, I had to keep at least 3.0 GPA. But I'm saying that depending on the organization, it might differ. I know some say you have to have at least 3.6 and you have to be a part of a specific club or organization. And the amount of money, as I was saying, really differ depending on the organization. Some will give $200,000, some will give $250,000, some might give more or less. It really depends. And also, I wanted you guys to know to make sure to be aware of how long the scholarship opportunity will last for, and if the scholarship is renewable based on GPA or other requirements. So the scholarship that I was on when I was at university, as long as I maintained a 3.0 GPA or above, the scholarship was renewable over a period of 3 years. However, I am aware of other scholarships from other institutions and organizations that even if you are awarded the scholarship in, for example, 2020, and at the end of the year, of the school year, you still maintain the GPA, they require that you actually reapply for the scholarship. So those are things that you want to be aware of. Is the scholarship just automatically renewable, or do they require that you actually reapply for it, even though you maintain your average throughout the school year? Also, you may be asked to partake in volunteer activities on behalf of the corporation that awarded you the scholarship. So as I was saying again, when I was at Sagicor, they would call us in to do activities. So you guys are aware that Sagicor have their 5K run. You guys ever heard about it?
I did that before.
Yes, so I used to volunteer at their runs, and when they have different events, they would call us in, like the scholarship recipients, they would call us in to do like little bit of work, or maybe even filing, nothing too tedious, but like they would just a couple hours, probably a week or so, to just do a little thing just for them, you know? So it's nothing tedious or anything like that, but you should be aware that they will call you in, or not always, but in some cases, they will call you in to do a little volunteer activity on behalf of the company or corporation, which is practically the least you can do because they're paying your tuition for university anyways. But it's very good that you're aware of these things from before. You guys have any questions before I move on? No? All right, great. All right, internships. So for internships, oh, hold on. I skipped the slide by accident. Okay, great. So for internships, what we're going to be looking at is where to go for internships and experiences. And usually what internships are, guys, are when you leave university, you have like a specific period in which you work at a place, but you're not there full time, and they will pay you like a small amount of money that they call a stipend. However, you don't always have to use an internship to get experience. You can volunteer somewhere in order to get experiences. There are different work corporations that are there that you can get experience through, such as the National Youth Service, and we're going to be going into some more that are available to persons that are kind of younger. And we're going to be looking at how to apply or display interest for an internship opportunity. All right. So where can I go to get an internship or some experiences? So some places that you guys can go, and just for STEM, or not even outside of STEM, because we want to be open-minded individuals. So if you want to get experience and it might not be in the specific field that you're thinking or interested in, that is fine. No experience is bad experience. Well, that's what we're hoping anyways. So hospital, clinics, and medical centers, especially if you're going into science, would be a great place to get some volunteer work or experience. As if you're thinking of technology or engineering or going along the lines of math, you can probably try interning or volunteering at places like service providers such as Diesel and Flow. And you have certain manufacturing industries such as Grace and Nestle that might take on volunteers as well. So you have companies like Shajiko that you can also apply to.
Miss,
Yes?
can I do something?
Yes, you can ask.
My mother works at Grace.
That's great.
And I know the company CEO. So my mother works on the same level as the company CEO.
That's
yeah, I know the company
lovely.
CEO and
So
stuff.
you can start getting, because you have links, man.
Yeah.
You have links, so that means you can actually go about trying to volunteer and see what you like and what you don't like. You know, it's good when you get the early experience, so you can cross off your lips what you really don't want to do and what you really want to do and excited about. Okay, so then you can go to certain organizations such as the National Youth Service Summer Program. Have you guys ever heard about that summer program before? Hello?
Yes,
You guys
yes.
are hearing me?
But you know, I didn't hear about it.
Oh, you never heard about it? Well, they have it every year, and I think they're now merged with the Heart Trust NT. And what they usually do, once you sign up the application, they tend to, I think it begin from the age 16 or 17, and they place children right across the island into different organizations and institutions, I believe for 3 weeks, or it might be more, I'm not sure, in order to get some form of work experience. And I went on it when I was young. When I was in high school, they placed me at like the health clinic that was in my community. So it's good to get those type of exposure, guys. Daniel, you raise your hand. What is the question? Oh, it was an accident. Oh, okay, my bad. All right. Okay, and then also, if for those who might not have been aware, the Ministry of Education also tends to launch a youth employment program, especially in the summer. They usually have them year-round, but most time these type of employment opportunities, especially for youths, always happen in the summer. So you have to be aware, you read up, ask your parents if they're into this industry, where you can go to volunteer and give some of your time just to get some experience in the industry. So for example, the Governor General has a summer of service program which is open to tertiary students. And in this case, it's open to tertiary students, right? But you have many others that are available that are open to secondary students where you can volunteer your time, guys. So don't always think about the part of the money part of it, but think about the experience and the different perspectives and ideas that you can get from volunteering your time at some of these companies, right? And the summer service program is a very interesting program because what they usually do at the end of it, the persons who did very well, they highlight them and they actually give some of them scholarships and grants. So even if at the end of the day, guys, you don't get any money, you might not get a lot of money out of some of these volunteer activities and experiences and internships, the connections and the different persons that you meet through it would definitely help you when you're trying to elevate yourself in your different profession and careers later on in life. So just think of them as a plus. Okay, next thing. So how to apply or display interest for an internship opportunity. So a great way to do this is to connect with companies or persons from earlier on who would like to work with. So as who was saying it before? Was it Drew? Who was saying it before? Was it Jumin? Who was saying that? Was it Jumin was the one who was saying that his mother works at Grace and he knows the CEO?
Yes, miss. I got good links.
So yes, I'm saying that this is like a great way to actually get some form of experience. So you connect with the persons from earlier on who you like to work with and talk to them and say, oh, this is my career interest that I'm interested in and I would love to come on and at least volunteer some hours or to even shadow the person. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term, but basically what you do is you would act like practically like maybe like a little bit of an assistant and you follow them around the company and see what they do and take notes. So that's what you practically, you wouldn't necessarily have to do anything much, but it's basically seeing or observing what they do in their day-to-day activities in their job. So you can reach out to persons from, well, maybe not from now, but maybe towards the later years in high school and make them aware of this is what you want to do and I have this form of interest in your company. Also, you can send in emails to companies showing your interest to work with them. So I know you guys are a bit young, so you can ask your teachers or your parents or even me. I don't have any problem to help you a bit with that. And always remember to follow up with them because remember that these companies, some of them are very big companies. They get large influxes of email. So when you send your emails to them, sometimes they might get lost. So you always have to follow up with them with a call or maybe another email just to let them know, right? Also, make sure to do some research on the culture or the background of the companies you would like to apply for to make sure you would be a good fit. And when I say this, I mean, make sure that you're also getting the experience that you want out of it, right? Because some work experiences that you go to, when you go there, you think that you're going to do one thing, and then eventually you find out that you're not going to do that, you do something else. So just make sure that what you can do to actually prevent that is try to talk with persons who actually work in that company and get like an idea of what it is like, what do they usually do, are they receptive to young teenagers and youths coming in, do they usually engage them and make them actually take part in some of the activities, or are they usually just have them sitting down and doing mostly file work? Because you do want to get a great experience. So make sure that they provide the type of experience that you want to get out of the internship or work experience or volunteer work, anything that you want. Okay, guys? And that is the end of my presentation. Yes.